Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. We will be starting in less than 5 minutes time, where Paul will be talking around enhance your teaching superpowers with breakout rooms. If anyone does have any questions, please do use the chat to ask your questions, and Paul will answer them throughout the session. But until we start in around 4 minutes time now, be sure to get yourself comfortable, ready for a great session here at Teams Nation. Hello and welcome everyone to Teams Nation. I make it dead on the hour now. So welcome along to this great event and this great session where Paul will be talking about enhance your teaching superpowers with breakout rooms. If you do have any questions, please do use the raise hand functionality throughout the session. You are on hard mute, but I will be able to unmute you. Use the chat as well to post your questions, and then there will be some time for questions at the end. But without further ado, I'd like to hand over to you now, Paul.
So if we're having a look then at what is accessibility, it's a term that's used quite a lot, and it's around that we wanted to make sure everyone's included. So accessibility is really key within education because we need to make sure we're including all of our students in everything we're doing. We're not excluding people at all. It's about creating better experiences for everyone. So making sure we give people the right tools to be able to do what they need to do within the classroom. and them to be able to fully participate and contribute. So over the past 12 months, we've seen big changes here in the UK, and I'm sure in many other countries across the world, with COVID-19 and how teaching is being delivered. A lot of it has had to come on to being taught in a virtual manner via online, and Microsoft Teams has been a brilliant tool to use. And there's some amazing tools and features within Microsoft Teams that have helped with those accessibility needs. When we're looking at accessibility, on average, it's 1 in 5 students are impacted by dyslexia. And today, that does get picked up quite quickly, and there are the tools there to help people who do suffer from dyslexia. If I go back to when I was a student at school, I think I had dyslexia, but it was never diagnosed, it was never chosen. I was sort of excluded from some of the lessons we had and so on, just because it was thought that he doesn't know as much as everyone else. He can go and do the bottom set stuff and so on. When in fact, I may have had an accessibility need. I've still not had it diagnosed if I do have dyslexia or not, but I think I do. And it has impacted over time. But with the use of technology, I can deliver it in work with some of these tools that are used today in the same ways as everyone else. And if we're looking at that exclusion and accessibility, then there's lots of levels to this. So if we're looking at exclusion, there could be a permanent exclusion around maybe someone's missing a limb or has a physical attribute to with their accessibility needs. There's temporary. So maybe someone's broken their arm. You've got a student in your class that's had an accident and broke their arm. My own son broke his arm a couple of years ago, and it did impact his learning because he was left-handed, broke his left arm, and wasn't able to hold a pencil and write and so on. So he had to be on a laptop and such. So he wasn't included in all of the activities that were happening in class. And then there's situational ones, and this is a real big one that has impacted many with the remote teaching and learning. So maybe they've got brothers, sisters, maybe there's babies and so on in the house that then have that impact on their needs and so on. So when we're talking about accessibility, we're not just talking about learning difficulties and such. It could be a full range of things that affect your students and people and so on. And like I said, disability takes many forms. So you have learning, visual, hearing, mobility, mental health, neurodiversity. So there's lots of different factors that play into people needing accessibility needs. And this is what we need to make sure we're including people in. So making sure that what it is we're doing is accessible and can be used in the same instance for whoever it may be within that classroom or whoever it is you're working with as well. So that's kind of set the scene around accessibility. So quick introductions. Laurent, I'll let you introduce yourself.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Paul. I'm very pleased to share the session with you. So my name is Laurent Carlier. I am a Microsoft 365 consultant from France with various certification, Microsoft MVP, ProSci for change management expertise, MIE master trainer for education expertise, and I work daily with clients worldwide in French, English, and Japanese to ensure perfect adoption of new technology. If you want to reach me, you can do it by mail, Twitter, or LinkedIn.
Brilliant. Thank you very much. And then a quick intro from myself. Paul Dredge, may have spoke to some of you already today within this education community track channel. I am a senior technical consultant for a company called Hable here in the UK. I work across many sectors, so I work within education, and my background does come from education, but I also work across healthcare, commercial, government, and so on. My connections are on there, so I have a blogging website, I'm on LinkedIn, I'm on Twitter, and I've also got a YouTube channel, so please do reach out, connect to me on there, and always sharing useful things around Microsoft Teams. So if we have a look at our agenda for today then, it was quite hard to try and narrow down some of our top tips for using Teams in education, because there's so many features out there. I just noticed in the chat someone said around, will they ever see American Sign Language feature released in Teams, what they used at Ignite? So there are changes to meetings. We're not going to go into those today, but there are changes happening to meetings. So if you do have accessibility needs and you've joined this session, you can call up the closed captions and so on, live captions, sorry. You can turn on live captions, 3 little dots on your screen, live captions, and then you will get subtitles to whatever is being said within this meeting. Really great tool to use with students and to highlight that with them. Then within meetings, there's new views coming. So what you said there about the American Sign Language, there are new views coming. What you can do, you can pin people's cameras and so on. So if you do have someone that is doing sign language and such, then they can show up on your screen. The parts we've picked out today, though, are around Immersive Reader, Dictation and Transcribe, the Editor feature, Flipgrid, Reflect, and then the brand new, hot off the press, Read in Progress. So I'm going to talk you through the first 3, and then I'm going to hand over to Laurent, who will go through the other 3. But as I say, if you have any questions about anything we're talking about, please use that chat, raise those questions in there. So if you have a look then at Immersive Reader, some of you may have heard of this, some of you may not. It's an amazing tool that has been around in Microsoft 365 for a number of years now. And its first form came within OneNote. And it was used within OneNote, but now it is across so many different applications. And I'll show you a slide in a second that shows you all the applications it's available on. But Immersive Reader is there to help people, whether they're of a young age or an older age. So it's for all age range. I use this quite a bit if I have a big document to read and I want it to play it back to me and I don't have to sit and read through it. Amazing way of doing it. But it's got some great things for educational use. So you can have it to produce pictures of what the words are. It can read out some of their words. It can read through the whole piece of text. You can manipulate the text to a view that suits you. So I'm going to just flag up a live demo here of using our Immersive Reader here in Microsoft Teams. So I've got Teams here. I'm using Teams on the web, but it is available in the application as well. But let's say I've got a message here, and we'll just go from this message from Alex. So let me just zoom in so it's a bit clearer for everyone. So I've got Alex here who's posted a message in Teams, and maybe I need some help with reading this. Maybe I can't read some of the text in here, or maybe I have accessibility needs and such. So if I hover over a message in Teams, I can click on my 3 little dots for more options, and then I have that Immersive Reader built into my Teams channel here. If I click onto Immersive Reader, then what it will do is it will declutter this area for me now. It's giving me tips, so I'm just going to skip through these tips just because I'll talk you through them. But you can see now that we have our message on the screen, who it's from, the time, and then that message here. I can change the text preferences, so I can go through it and say, well, the text is too small, it's too big. I can change this. I can increase or decrease line spacing. I have a few fonts to choose. Comic Sans is quite a popular one because that looks more like handwriting and how people will write the words. But there are a couple of us to choose from there. We have these themes. So we have different overlays we can apply to the text. So let's say I struggle reading black text on a white background. I can change it. So it's white text on a black background. I can change to different colors to make it more clearer to me. And it's just a way of manipulating that text. If I go at the top here, I have grammar options. So again, I can separate the words into syllables. So it will help me read those words out. So I can see here, gravitation. Maybe I struggle to read that word, and that's broken down that word. So I can say gravitation. And it's helped me now work out what that word is. Whereas before, if I didn't have it split up with syllables, I may have struggled to try and read that. We can highlight different things like nouns, verbs, adjectives, and adverbs. We can change the color. So maybe in your institution, you have different colors, purple pen, green pen, red pen, whichever it may be, for highlighting those. You can change those colors to suit. So from a teaching aspect, you could use Immersive Reader to put up onto a screen, or maybe you're teaching virtually through Teams and you're sharing your screen. You could then bring this up into your screen share within a Teams meeting and display it. or as a student, they can open this themselves as well. One thing that's brilliant is around the reading preferences. So in reading preferences, we can really change the focus here to help us read what it is we have on our screen. So we have the line focus. So if I do this, it's very much like putting a ruler on a piece of paper and then following what you're reading with a ruler down the page as you go. You can do this within this feature. You can do 3 lines or you can do 5 lines. I can't select the 5-line option because I don't have enough text to do that. But if my document was a big document that I was reading here, then I could select that option. We have picture dictionary, which I'll show you in a second. That is turned on. Really key thing to use. And then what we can do as well is we can translate this message within Immersive Reader. So let's say we have someone that has, so here in England, we might have someone who has English as an additional language, and they're in your classroom, and maybe they struggle to read some of the words that are in English. They can change the language. So I'm going to change to French. I'm not going to try and impress Laurent with my French because I'm terrible at other languages. But I can change the language to French, and I can either do it by word or the whole document. So if I do the whole document, then it transfers that text, as you can see, into French. I like the word option. So if I just come out of this, then what I can do here is click on January, and then it's got that French translation for me. I don't speak French. I'm not going to try to either, especially with a Frenchman here with me today. But what I can do is I can click on that word. I don't know if you heard that, but it will read that word out for me. And then I know what it means, how to say it in French, and so on. I can also click on the English word, and it will read out the English word. So maybe I don't know what, I can't read that word. I don't know what it is. Let me just turn off the line focus. So again, back to gravitation, I can click on that word and it can read out that word for me. So it's really, really helpful in the way Immersive Reader works. We can click on words as well, and you can see that it's used that picture dictionary. So now it's giving me examples again of what the word is. So we can see talk, and we've got people talking here, which then helps me read that word. I've got it so it can listen to it, and then I've got the pictures as well. So a really powerful tool to use. And this is just within a Teams channel. If I wanted to, I could as well have it play back the whole of the text. And when I play it back, I can change the voice speed and whether it's male or female. It's a really, really good way of trying to read information if it's a bit cluttered and so on. If you've got a big piece of text to read. So here's a bit of a better example I probably should have used, but you can see there's quite a bit of text here. There's a link and so on. It looks a bit crowded to me. So if I click on those 3 dots, go into Immersive Reader, then again, we can see it saves my settings from opening it before, and it's just a lot clearer to read. I can follow this and it can help me. So again, gravitation, I can click on different words and it helps me read those words and so on. So if I just move that across out of the way for now, and if I just go to the next screen of the presentation, I can share this into the chat after I stop presenting, but you can see here where the Immersive Reader, the Microsoft Learning tools are available across all these different applications. So you can see here, they are available on tons of things. So it's not just in Teams, they're in your OneDrive, they're in Whiteboard, they're in PowerPoint, Word, they're even on the iPad, and so on. So you've got this great way of using the Immersive Reader across these different tools within Microsoft 365. Something I want to point out as well is that Edge browser. So Edge browser has Immersive Reader built into it. So if you use the Edge browser, then any website you go to, you can use it within your Edge browser. Amazing tool to use. The next thing I want to talk to you about is dictation and transcribe. So I love demoing the dictation functionality. Something that I used to really enjoy is when I was delivering training sessions in person, and it's just a great tool to show people how dictation works, because people are blown away with how accurate it works and how well it can work just without headsets and so on. It works again across multiple Teams, multiple Microsoft products within Microsoft Teams, but also other products. So Outlook it works in, so if you're composing emails, you can use Dictation, works in Word, works in PowerPoint and so on. You can even use it on your mobile device as well. So let's say you're having a brain dump, a student is having a brain dump of information, they could read that information into their mobile device and it would type it up into the document for them. They no longer have to sit and type it manually by hand. If we look at accessibility needs, again, if people struggle to use a keyboard, they struggle to type for any particular reason, they can just talk their words, their sentences into that document and it's going to write it for them. And then the last one there is, if you heard us pre-session, me and Laurent were just talking about the transcribe of audio into text. There's a new feature that's come out recently, which allows you to upload an audio file, which then can transcribe that into a Word document, and it will take out the text out of that audio file and put it into your document. So let's have a look at some of those features then. So again, just going to pop across my my Teams here. So if I just go into files within my team channel and wrong channel, sorry, if I go into my Oceans unit and I go into my files here, then I've got a document called Teams Nation. I'm going to go into my document called Teams Nation and it's going to open up Word. So I'm still in Microsoft Teams, not had to open up Word on my desktop or anything like that. I have this microphone symbol. So I have my dictate option here. And I'm going to pray this works. It didn't work a couple of days ago for some unknown reason. Worked perfectly fine this morning. So hopefully during demo, it will still work, but let's give it a go. So I'm going to click on my dictate and I'm going to talk into my document. If you can see my camera, I'm going to hold my hands up in the air as well, so you know I'm not cheating here. So I'm going to click on dictate. And then what it should do is should start typing what it is I'm saying. Full stop, new paragraph. What you'll notice is it's wrote the word full stop, it's wrote the word new paragraph, but it should go back and change this because it runs off artificial intelligence. So it knows what I'm saying, it can learn about what I'm talking about, and then it should go back and change some of my grammar and punctuation. So there we go, live demos worked, fantastic stuff. It's out separated those into new paragraphs and full stops and so on. So if you do have punctuation you want to say, you have to say it, so like exclamation mark and such. I'm just going to stop that so you can see how well that worked. I'm talking into my camera that's in front of me here, so I've not got a headset and I've not had to buy hundreds of pounds worth of software to be able to do this, but I can just talk to my device and it's going to type what I'm saying. A little bit messy in the demo because I'm not taking my time with it, I'm not thinking about what I'm saying, I'm just going off the cuff here. But you see how accurate it was. It did go back, it did put in that new paragraph and so on. So it works in a great way. If I just click on the little line next to it, then you can see we can do dictate and we can do transcribe. If I go down to the bottom, when we click on dictate, it opens up the little option for me at the bottom here. If I click on the cog, then I can change some of the settings here. So you can see my spoken language is English UK. So it's picked up that I'm speaking English, but I can change this and I can speak another language. See, it's telling me what microphone I'm using, so I can change my microphone. Auto punctuation, didn't have that turned on, but I could turn that on. It's going to automatically pick up my punctuation based on how I'm talking, how I pause, whether I'm shouting, exclamation marks, and so on. And then nicely for education, we have that profanity filter. So we do have that option as well. If I click on my little drop down and I go to transcribe, then out pops a menu here on the right hand side. I've cheated because I've already uploaded the transcription file here, but you have an option to upload transcription. Click on the upload button that does show up here, and then that uploads it to your OneDrive and then embeds it into your Word document here. And you can see here, this particular file was Laurent speaking in French. So it's in French language, but because it knows I'm from the UK and so on, it's translated it for me into English. So it's actually translated that French spoken word into English. I can edit the section, so maybe it might not have picked it up perfectly. I can edit some of this and so on. I can add it to my document, I can play it, I can skip through it and so on. So you can see here, it's actually done that transcription for me. If I go to add to document, I can do it with text, with speakers, timestamps, with speakers and timestamps. So I can get that option in here around how it's going to import it. So if I go to just text, and I think, there we go, you can see here, it's picked up the transcription from what was said in that audio file. Brilliant way of adding things in. So maybe you as a student or even as a teacher recording some notes, some speech, something like that. You need to add it into a document and then you need to expand onto that text. You can definitely do that. Maybe as an academic staff, you're doing meeting minutes and you've set a recording and you record the meeting on a mobile device, sound recorder, however you want to do it. And then you can import that recording and then you can have it. So when we go to add, you can do timestamps. You've got your meeting minutes done for you. Amazing way of doing things. And that takes me on to my last point I want to talk about here is the editor. And this is probably one of my most used tools now within Microsoft Word, but it also comes in the other applications as well. And it's just a fantastic thing. So everyone's used spell checker. Everyone out there would have used spell checker where it highlights where spellings and such and recommended changes. Our editor has taken it to that next level. It works out whether your document is free flowing. Is it easy to read? Is the information in there correct? Brilliant way of doing things. So let me, rather than talk about it, let's demo this. So let me just go into, I've got a document here called Oceans. I'm going to go into this Oceans document. And we can see here that we've got some information around oceans. If I click onto my editor icon, so the little pencil with the flashy lines next to it, if I click onto this, it's then going to populate that editor on the right hand side for me. And we can see it's giving me a score of my text of 68%. And you can see I hover over it, it says based on the number and type of suggestions that I need to review. It's picked up 3 spelling errors in here, and then it could take me through them and tell me to change these. We can see we've no longer got that dated look box now coming up. It's all now streamlined into our document. We can see it picks up grammar suggestions. So we can see here it's telling me there's a grammar suggestion here. And then when you change things, we can notice it's highlighting other things. We've got some refinements as well in here. So you can see acronyms, clarity, formality, and so on. So it's picking up these details for me. And then we can check online. And I'm not tried this before, so let's just check the online and see what it does. And we can see it's found some similarities. So this bit of text here, it's picked up that it's off something else. So it's picked up that these are taken from a website. So great way for if you're marking students' work and you want to see if a student has just done a copy and paste off Wikipedia or some other website out there, you can see that under the similarity, it has just been a like for like copy and paste job. So bad by me because I've just done a copy and paste. I've not been creating my own work here, but it's picked it up. It tells me this. Maybe I want to copy and paste, but now I want to change bits and put it into my own words rather than just doing that straight copy and paste. We can see as well, it's got text predictions. If we go into insights, it tells us our document stats, words, how long it takes to read, and so on. So we can see how well this document flows. So how long it's going to take for someone to speak it out loud, how long it's going to take to read, the readability of the difficultness of reading it, and so on. So it's really key tool to use and looking at how well a student could write their document. They could be writing an assignment, coursework, and then they can see how well it reads, where the changes need to be made. It's like someone proofreading a document for you. For accessibility needs, fantastic, because it highlights some of those things. I said earlier on, I think I suffer from dyslexia. This editor tool has been amazing for me working in my adult life. So I write a lot of proposals during my working life, and I would always have to get someone to proofread it. And there'll be quite a few changes. Whereas I can do that initial proofread myself now with the editor, and I can go through it. I can have my document read out loud, whether I'm using an Immersive Reader or the Read Aloud feature built into Word. And I can do a lot of the pre-checks myself now. So if you imagine a student in the classroom being able to do that before they hand in that work to their teacher, that student then is getting a lot of that pre-stuff done for them. Amazing tools, all built into Microsoft Teams and Microsoft Online, also within the desktop applications. So I'm now going to stop sharing my screen. I'm going to hand over to Laurent, who's going to take you through some of the other tools out there within Microsoft Teams. So Laurent, over to you.
Yeah, thank you. Okay. Okay, I think you have my screen. Can you give me an okay?
Perfect.
Okay. So yeah, we saw very good tools, and I want to continue on more tools. The first tool I want to show you called Flipgrid. Basically, Flipgrid is a social learning platform that allowed educators to ask questions, so students can record a response in a video format. This is very good for shy students to express self-reflection or learning process. This is also perfect considering the pandemic situation where teachers have to teach online. Flipgrid is a free tools. It is free for educators, and also it is free for students. And the good thing is that it is connected directly with your Microsoft 365 account. I will show you how it looks. Let's see that I am a teacher, and this is my Teams class, physical science, and for the group A, I want the group A of students to express their learning process about a specific subject. So basically, I just add a tab right there, and students can view my my task here. Basically, this is in French, so it is not related to physical science. It's just for demo. And this is okay. Introduce yourself, and students will click on record a response, and then as I am a teacher, I can see all the video response from students. This is very good and very quick to set up. I will show you right now how to set up this as a teacher. Basically, you have to go to Flipgrid website, and from there you just log in with your Office 365 account, and then you create a group. I will show you here, and basically a group equal a class or equal a thematic. And for this example, I create physical science 3A classes. And in these classes, let me go back. In these classes, if I want to show you how I set up permission, I can set a permission for students directly with their email, or I can just write a student username. And what is good with that, for example, I set up Paul Dredge as a student. And if I want to give Paul a very easy access for this, I have this button, print. And when I click on print, I got this one. And I can print that QR code, and in that QR code, the students will have the join code and his student's ID. So if I go back to how I set up a question, this is very simple to set up. I just open my class, and then from this class, I create a topic. And for example, I will say, what is the Earth? the Earth's primary source of energy. I'm limited. Oh, sorry, I'm limited. What is the Earth's source of energy? Okay, and then below I can add, if I want, to various media. As you can see, I can add Bitmoji, Kahoot, Waterlet, etc., etc., etc. I can set up topic moderation. If I disable it, students will not be able to see other students' video response, but if I enable it, they will see other students' response. That is good for social discussion on it. And if I click on more attachment, I can set up, for example, the length of the recording time, basically from 50 seconds to 10 minutes, and also the what students can do inside the video response if I want to give them a different access or option to record another thing that video. I can set up right from this. Once I'm done with that, I just click on create topic. Oh yeah, we just go quickly on that. And then I have this window all set, and then I just copy this link and I go back to my Teams. And if I go right there, the group B, I just click on add tab, Flipgrid, and then from that, I will just paste the link and then click on record. Save, sorry, not save. And this is the windows that students will have. And for students, basically they will enter their username or they scan their QR code, because Flipgrid, you can access a record option from Flipgrid from web site, or you can use a specific application for this. Especially if students are using a smartphone or tablets, they can download for free the Flipgrid application. So this is good. Flipgrid is very nice tools, especially to enforce students to give their learning process, their self-reflection, etc., etc. If you have not tested and if you are an educator, please do it, because you will see this is really amazing. The second tool I want to show you is Reflect. This is brand new. Reflect is a tool to capture students' feelings in Microsoft Teams, and I will show you how it works. Basically, you go to a team. I will go in that team, and I want to know how my students are feeling today. And to do this, I click on new conversation, and I have this tool right there. If you do not have it, you have to add it, and this is very simple to add it. You just click here on Reflect and you have it. But right now I have it, so I just click on it and it will open a new window. This is in French, but I will translate it quickly for you. How do you feel today? And I can set up a privacy setting. This privacy setting is educators see your names, classmates won't see your names. And the second one here, educators see your names and classmates won't see anything. And for example, I said, okay, how do you feel today? And this is a short survey during 5 minutes. And okay, I leave it right there and I click send. Okay, so my survey just appeared right now. And if I jump to student side, that I will go right now. This is a student. I go physical science, then she will see the new post. And how do you feel today? Okay, and I will choose this icon. And from that part, what is good is that you have different adjectives from here, because if you just choose this emoji, I do not understand why you're feeling in that way. And for example, thinking, so I will choose pensif here in French, and then click on OK, terminer. And then on the teacher side, if I go back on the teacher side, then I will see right now that Fatima, these students, told me that kind of feeling. So this is good if I want to track students' feeling, especially when students are totally online or when they are in hybrid learning. These tools reflect for quick checking for students' feelings is a nice tools to try. And the last tool I want to show you, actually I cannot show you because it is in preview, and Microsoft say that it will be globally available on this year's late August. So finger crossed for this, because we all know Microsoft is always late. But I will just explain it with a video from Mike Tolson, and I think Mike will probably talk about this in his session today. So basically, reading progress is a tool to track students' reading fluency. And if I explain it quickly how it works, I will just play quickly the video from Mike. Basically, the reading progress as an educator, you have to set up in assignment. And in assignment, if you have it, you will see right there. And then from that part, as an educator, you will be able to upload your own document. Currently, it is Word only, but I think Microsoft will also think about inserting PDF format files, and from that part, you will be able to set up different things that is very good, like a number of items and the pronunciation sensibility, and also the require video. You can enable it or disable it. Why it's good to enable it? Because one student will have that kind of assignments, and if you enable require video, then the students will also record video. And for educators, it might be good to see the the mouse movement of students if she or he speaks correctly. So how it works, so I will just go ahead on this video to show you the capture. So this is the student side, and for example, these students will have to read a text about geography. So once she's okay with that, she click on ready, and it will open the immersive kind of window of Immersive Reader right there. And then she will read the text. And once she's done, she can start over or said, okay, I'm finished. On a teacher side, he will get that kind of review that is very good. And in that review, teachers will be able to see words per minute, the accuracy rate, and for the accuracy rate, you will have specific highlighting colors for self-correction, repetition, mispronunciation, etc., etc. And teachers will be able to see directly the parts that had some problems about pronunciation. It can enable the auto detect, and for the auto detect, the soft will highlight directly the parts, the problems parts. But if teachers want to correct themselves the pronunciation, then they can disable the auto detect, and then they will check manually by listening and watching the students what was the problem about mispronunciation or repetition, etc., etc. So I'm really looking forward for this tool, and it's coming this year, late August. That was for my part. I went very quick as we are running out of time. So I will go back to Paul and ask him if we had question in the chat.
Brilliant there, Laurent, and apologies for making you have to rush through it. I'm always the one that goes over on time as well. So brilliant stuff. I haven't seen any messages, questions in the chat. If anyone does have any questions, please do post them in the chat, or if you want to ask a question to either me or Laurent, raise your hand as well and I can take you off mute for your question. While we're waiting, just want to say brilliant to present with you today. Great stuff there. Really liking that reading aspect to Teams, because that's going to, especially students work like learning from home, it's going to really help teachers to assess them and see where things are at and so on. But also in the classroom. So there's stuff out there, tools that institutions purchase that do that, which they end up spending a lot of money on. Whereas now this is built into Teams, all part of your single platform for learning. So it's just a massive, real good product that Microsoft are going to be bringing out there. Okay, can't see any questions just yet. I have put the feedback link into the chat, and then Laurent is sharing on his screen there the QR code. As always, feedback is key for us as speakers, but also for the event, whether it's positive feedback or things we can improve on. Please do share your feedback, because we can only get better as speakers and event organisers with the likes of yourselves giving us that feedback. But it doesn't look like we've got any questions, so I want to say absolute privilege to be presenting with you today, Laurent.
Yeah,
great stuff,
awesome.
Great presentation, and thank you very much for sharing the stage with me today.
Yeah, thank you, Paul.